to the UK now to find out about an event that combines some of motorsport's most iconic cars with an equally famous racetrack.
The Silverstone Classic takes place each July. It's a festival involving music, historic displays, but above all, motor racing.
Because it's a Grand Prix circuit, we can start as many as 48 cars. So that enables us to attract, a huge variety of cars. On top of that, with a 3-day weekend, with qualifying on Friday and then 2 full days of racing, we've had 21 races, basically. So something like 700 competing cars, 1,000 competitors. So it is just phenomenal.
There is a fantastic spread of motor cars here. Everything from historic Formula One cars down to minis and back again, including touring cars, GT cars, sports cars. And the wonderful thing is that they are all in immaculate condition, beautifully maintained.
During the course of the 3-day event, some of the world's most iconic racing machinery spanning over 70 years of history grace Silverstone's Grand Prix circuit.
I'm driving the Ferrari Dino 246. It was the last front-engine Grand Prix car to ever win a Grand Prix. Phil Hill won the Italian Grand Prix in 1960.
This is a Brabham PT26 chassis 2. It's ex-Jack Brabham and Jochen Rindt, so it's pretty famous.
I'm driving the Hesketh. This is the car which James Hunt won his first ever Grand Prix in, Dutch Grand Prix in 1975.
Despite the fact that many of the cars would reach eye-watering sums at auction, the owners believe that the best way of looking after them is by racing them.
If it was in a museum, people would dust it down once a month and that would be it. All the working parts have to be stripped down regularly. The engine's rebuilt every 1,000 miles, so we know that everything on the car is as good as it was in its day.
It's a full-time job for 4 guys here and a lot of preparation in the workshop to make sure that they work properly. So, yeah, they're high-maintenance cars.
It was historic F1 cars that were headlining the event. Dozens of passionate owners brought their treasured machines along, determined to prove that these classics have a life beyond the museum.
In a way, they're probably the last of the real driver-orientated cars. I mean, obviously there is technology, but the technology, let's say, is about 15%, whereas today the technology, let's say, is 90-odd%. It's a more simple form of racing, in my opinion, a better form, it's purer. It's a genuine and proper challenge.
At the other end of the performance scale, but no less popular, was the Mini category. With the iconic British brand marking its 50th birthday this year, what better way to celebrate than by hitting the track?
Most people, their first car they had was a Mini, and they're absolutely fantastic to drive. I mean, these Miglis are sort of more or less like touring car specs, but they're absolutely fantastic. Amazing speeds and lovely handling.
People always underestimate the Minis, but they're very fast. We were at Spa a couple of years ago and the commentator pointed out that the fastest lap of the Mini Miglia would actually put it 8th on the Ferrari 355 grid. They might not be horrendously fast in a straight line, but they're brilliant round corners.
Completing the diverse lineup were the Group C type cars of the 1980s, regarded by many as the greatest era in sports car racing. Seeing these ultra-fast machines competing again brought the memories flooding back.
I raced at Le Mans in 1990. We were doing speeds of like 235 miles an hour on the Mulsanne straight with the chicanes in qualifying. They were spectacular cars and very, very popular with the crowds across Europe.
The cars sort of were the pinnacle, I believe, at that stage of motorsport. You know, there was a lot of different types, a lot of different shapes. They're noisy, they're large, they're fast. You know, that's what motorsport is all about.